Mexico is an amazing country with rich history, vibrant culture, and incredible food. It's actually one of the most visited countries in the world, hosting over 40 million international tourists every year. And that number is only going up. But before you pack your bags, there are some things you should know. Here we'll be taking a look at some mistakes that would be very easy to make and just as easy to avoid if this is your first time coming to Mexico. So the last thing I did before going into Mexico was stop by a bank in Laredo, Texas to exchange some US currency for some pesos. When you're in Mexico, all of your cards should still work, your debit card and your credit card should work just fine. But it's important to keep some local currency on you just in case you have any issues with your card. And that has definitely saved me from some embarrassing situations before. There was actually one time at a full-service gas station when, for some reason, my bank decided that the gas that the gas station attendant had already put into my car looked suspicious. And for my own protection, they decided the transaction would be declined. Immediately, I was in a panic, but fortunately, I remembered I still had enough cash on me to cover it. But honestly, I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have any pesos on me, because I assume if I didn't, they would have had to call the cops on me or something. I'm not really sure, but what a stupid reason to have a run-in with the law in another country just for that. But again, it didn't come to that, luckily. Another reason why you want to have some pesos is because there is a lot of paid parking here. At least that's the case at most of the malls in Monterrey, Mexico. And make sure you pay for your parking at one of the vending machine style kiosks before you go to your car and try to leave. Otherwise, when you get to the exit gate, it won't open and you'll have a line of cars behind you, making it impossible to turn around. Ask me how I know that. Another basic rule of thumb when traveling pretty much anywhere: don't piss off the locals. Which you would think would be easy, but with cultural differences and a language barrier, it could be easy to perpetuate the rude American stereotype. One thing I try to do is at least make it seem like I'm in a good mood when I'm trying to deal with someone. It can be very easy for somebody to confuse your frustration with the situation or whatever as being mad at them, especially because you don't speak the language. So you're not going to be making much sense anyways. So when you speak to any of the locals, be extra friendly, and I try to keep a smile on my face. Another thing we do when we're out is we try not to speak English loudly where others can hear. Which seems weird to say, but there is a stereotype of people from the US being a bit loud. So at first we were just speaking softly out of politeness. Because to be honest, I never see anyone speaking loudly here. But obviously if somebody did hear us speaking, they would be able to immediately know we are not locals. Which is fine, no one has given us a hard time or anything. I just think that if your goal is to try to blend in, then this would at least be one way to not make us stick out in the crowd. And we do speak to each other in English all the time, but we just don't try to yell across a crowd of strangers or anything. Just because you never know who's around, and you might not want to walk around with a sign on your back saying, "I'm a foreigner." But just for context, this has never actually mattered really as far as I know. Everyone we've spoken to has been very nice. Another thing you want to look out for, and the only thing on this list I can guarantee is going to be a danger to you, is the speed bumps. Sometimes they're painted, and sometimes they're not, but they are always where you least expect them. What you can expect is that if you don't see them, you're going to spend about half your driving flying through the air. I've had the pleasure of flying through the air in Monterrey, Mexico a few times. I rate the experience 7.8 out of 10. But if you are really worried about your safety, you could obviously just stay to the touristy areas, or if you're staying at a resort, you could just stay close by there. But honestly, I'm in the city of Monterrey right now, which is the third biggest city in Mexico with about 5 million people, and honestly, it seems pretty safe to me. So travel with confidence. And if you've made it this far, please leave a comment telling me where you're from. Like the video and please subscribe.